Don't worry, Percy. We're coming up on the viaduct. That'll slow him down.
Ugh, he looks awfully frazzled.
What else could you expect? Those filthy trucks tire an engine out so. That's why I never fraternize with cars. Frequent braking is bad for my swerves, after all.
I was waiting for you to say it. You two will never guess. It happened again. How'd you know? That's the third time this month Scruffy's given an engine trouble. Poor Scruff is having his brakes repaired now because of that truck. Somebody needs to do something about him. There are a lot of trucks that need something done about them, Thomas. It's a futile effort. They're all poorly behaved. It's in their nature. Do you know that Scruffy is the oldest truck still in service? He's been on the island longer than I have. And he's a terrible influence on the others. If he were never here, the other trucks would be far better behaved, and this railway would be a safer place. More coffee, Mr. Oddman? Yes, please. Thank you. Roger. Hello there, Ryan. How are you today? Quite all right, Mr. Oddman. It's a lovely summer day. Can't go wrong with that. I suppose not. You know, Mr. Oddman, I don't suppose you've heard word of Percy's latest run-in with disaster? The incident with the boxcars of straw? Yes, I'm acutely familiar with that. Those poor horses. No, that was weeks ago. I'm talking about today, when he damaged the water tower. No, that was this morning. I mean just now. Before that.
But we took no notice. Once we got to the very top of the hill, a rusty coupling snapped.
Ooh.
We shot backwards, laughing in our silly way. On, we yelled.
It's my understanding that you've been causing a significant deal of trouble lately. Would you care to explain yourself?
Mr. Oddman, pleasure seeing you again.
Why have you been instigating so many accidents on my railway as of late?
Well, Mr. Oddman, I suppose it's to be expected.
To be expected?
Well, of course. I've never been quite the same since my overhaul, after all.
Your overhaul?
Don't you remember? Back in 45, my train's coupling snapped and we derailed to the transfer yards. I was damaged enough to receive a complete overhaul. I've never been the same truck since.
Well,
There's certainly nothing I can do to fix that, now is there? What are you trying to damage yourself enough to receive another overhaul in hopes of feeling like yourself again? Certainly not. Another overhaul would only serve to do more damage to my fragile psyche. What I need is more parts of my former self. Then I'll behave.
You think I can acquire 9 years old scrap to restore you back to your original shape? That's impossible.
I just need my old chassis, then I'll be good again, I promise.
Do you not understand? I can't retrieve it.
It's right over there.
Okay, I'll look into it. I can't just take it for you. It's probably about to be used for something, or...
It has been in that exact same spot for the last 9 years. I honestly don't think it's going anywhere.
Well, there's, zoning laws. It's complicated. I don't have time to explain it to you. Mr. Ardman, there's a bit of an issue here that requires your attention.
Mr. Ardman, I represent the Goldred Inn at the summit of Calderfell. I have conferred with several other bar and tavern owners across the island, and we have all experienced the same occurrence. A man we have come to hear is a personal friend of yours. Robert Stewart has been patronizing every tavern on Sodor and running up an enormous tab, using his occupation to justify not paying for drinks. We respect his affiliation with the military immensely, but we cannot allow this to continue.
Robert Stewart? But he's in the States.
Evidently not, Mr. Ardman.
Do you have any idea of his whereabouts?
I can't imagine he's migrated too far from my business. The man drinks like a fish. The disturbance is right in here, Mr. Ardman.
Oh, now, that was an adventure. For 40 days straight, we sailed through, where was the blasted...
Sir, for the last time, get off the bar and settle down. This is a restaurant.
You hear that, everyone? This girl here has no respect for her protectors. I did not spend 30 years as a military general to be spoken to like this.
You're a military general?
Why, yes I am. United States General Robert Stewart. Here's my badge, see? But I'm innocent, I tell you. I really did think it was my badge. It's not my fault. I've got memory problems. I'm not a well man.
hate the sinner, not the sin.
Mr. Hurt, if you are unable to pay for your extensive tab, I have no choice but to press these charges.
But,
You're looking at a few weeks, maybe a month at the most. We'll have to work out precisely how many different taverns you've been...
A month? But what about...
You can arrange for any bills or mortgages you would ordinarily be paying to be set up ahead of time.
I don't pay bills. What will happen to Skiff?
Who's Skiff? And how can you not be paying bills?
Skiff! My rowboat! The only home I have! See? Skiff's been good to me. Many years of faithful service. If you ship me off to the big house over this minor, petty little incident, Skiff could be stolen or damaged or mangled horribly. I can't have that.
I can personally assure you, sir, that I will not allow anything to happen to Skiff. As director of the railway, you have my word.
Director of the railway? So what bloody business do you have at sea?
Hello?
Robert?
Phil! Oh, hey, Phil. Hey, I was actually just about to call you. Yeah, I was.
I don't suppose you misplaced your badge recently?
Did I? Huh. I haven't not had to pay for drinks in weeks.
Well, I found your badge. You left it on Sodor.
Wow, really? Well, that's a load off my conscience. I'll come back and get it.
Are you serious? I can just mail it to you easily.
No, Phil. You say no more. It is fine. We will return to Sodor ASAP.
We?
Oh, me and my sister. Remember Michelle? She's a dear. Anyway, she and I'll come to Sodor to get my badge and probably live there from now on. You know how it is?
What?
Yeah, things are not good with the wife. I think she might be trying to, I don't know, kill me or something. It's complicated, Phil. It's so very, very complicated. You know how relationships can be. Anyway, I'll be there in a few days.
Okay.
Great. Talk to you when I can.
There you are, you worthless, good-for-nothing.
No, not the curling iron! Ah!
Hello?
I'm telling you, Michelle, you're going to love life on Sodor. It's an incredible place, I promise. Picture a land where the sky is so blue.
I've been there, I recall. It's a storybook land of wonder. A magical island just waiting for me. We were just there. It's not where we're going that concerns me, it's what we're leaving behind.
What we're leaving behind, Michelle, is my crazy wife who wants to kill me, and all for nothing. A guy blows a few $1,000s on a...
I don't mean your wife. I mean my career. You expect me to just abandon everything at the drop of a hat. Robert, the paper is my livelihood.
Michelle, Susan stabbed me with a butter knife because I hid the normal knives. Because I thought she might stab me with a normal knife, but instead she tried to stab me with a fork. So I hid the forks. So she stabbed me with a butter knife. There's no going back from that, Michelle. If we had stayed in the U.S., who knows how long it would have been before she came looking for me, this time with a different eating utensil. A fork, a spork, a ladle, a rolling pin, like a cheese grater, God knows what, Michelle. I am literally shaking in fear. Have you ever been to a fancy restaurant, Michelle? They have 5 different types of spoons. The possibilities are endless. The kitchen is literally an armory for my demise.
I'm not in the mood for your nonsense right now, Robert.
Nonsense? I'm being dead serious.
Excuse me, sir. Could you please move your bags? We have a full flight today, and we need every seat. I need these bags with me.
Could you please put them at your feet then? This other gentleman needs to sit down.
I need these bags with me. I'm not letting you check them or whatever you people call it, and then I never see them again. No, these are staying right here with me.
Sir, no one is going to take away your bags. If you would just kindly...
I already told you. These bags are staying here with me.
Would you just cooperate? Stop being so difficult. You're a grown man and you're fussing over this like a child.
Would you believe that? This girl's awfully bad-mannered to talk back to an elder like that. I should remember a time when women were to be seen and not heard.
Alright, buddy, you need to back off. You're being a total heel right now. If you would just move your stuff so that guy could sit down and put his stuff somewhere.
Oh, now he's talking for you, eh?
Leave him out of this. If you just stop fussing like this.
I'd be pretty embarrassed if I were you right now, letting my wife talk to other men like that.
She is my sister, I'll have you know. And if you just paid attention to the lecture our lovely stewardess just gave, hey Karen, you'd know to store the bag underneath your seat like the rest of us.
Sir, there's another seat in the very back of the plane, if you're willing to sacrifice, simply for the sake of appeasing this disagreeable man.
I'll take it. I couldn't possibly bear to spend the entirety of this flight with such an impudent young girl and her yellow-bellied brother.
That guy's a jerk.
You see, Robert, this is exactly what I'm talking about. I can't get comfortable with the idea of being totally uprooted like this and stuck somewhere totally alien.
And New Jersey was really that great?
Well, no. But it was our home. Everything we had, everything we worked for, it was all there. What does Sodor have?
Okay, Sodor is a beautiful island nearly entirely covered by railway lines, populated by sentient vehicles, all of which are owned and directed by one man, who just so happens to be my best friend.
Good for you.
Look, Michelle, I promise you, you're going to like it here. Look at that. That is majestic. Hey, Phil, we're here.
Hi.
Did you know they have this new baggage claim thing at the airport? It is very confusing, bewildering even. Come on, let's go to your office, put the tea on. I've got all kinds of wacky shenanigans to share. And hijinks. Not to mention the hijinks.
Hello.
Hi, you're Phil? What am I saying? We practically just saw each other. I'm Michelle. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too.
So this thing just keeps spinning round and around and around, right? And I see my bag, and I know it's my bag because it has the thing on it, and I see my bag. Anyway, my tie gets stuck in the end of the conveyor belt, and they had to bring in the scissors of life, snip, snip, you know what I'm saying? And it was a big hassle. But hey, I got this fancy new identical tie at the airport gift shop afterward. Had to show up in style, am I right? Is, something wrong?
It's nothing. Just, a little stressed is all. Overbooked. Running a railway is difficult. Balancing life, all that. Just today I found a silver hair, in fact.
Don't worry about it, buddy. Graying is nothing to be ashamed of. Stuart's gray early. All of us. It's in our blood. I've actually been a bottle raven for like 5 years now. Oh, Michelle does it too.
Robert!
What? He can't know. I'm trying to help him with his blatant image problems. Look at him. The guy's a wreck.
I'm taking a walk.
That's the spirit, Michelle. Exercise keeps you young at heart. Seriously, buddy, what's the matter? You've been more nervous than usual lately.
It's nothing. I'm just
I'm just nervous is all.
Nervous about what?
My father called me today. He's visiting Sodor uninvited to check in on things.
What? It's just your dad. I wouldn't be freaked out if my dad visited me on the job. Then again, he's dead, so...
It's a little more than that, Robert. Do you realize I haven't seen him since I left the U.S.? That was almost 20 years ago. I've had no communication with him for all this time, and suddenly he wants to come and see me.
Phil, you have nothing to worry about. He's gonna be so proud. You've accomplished so much.
You've never met my father.
You gotta understand how big of a deal this is to him. He hasn't seen his dad in like 50 years, and now he's gonna make this dramatic return into Phil's life all of a sudden. Things are a little stressful for him right now.
More stressful than being hunted by the Sudrian psycho.
What?
Nothing.
Now, Phil, just remember to relax. Confidence is key. I learned that in the military. You just gotta keep your head on straight. My mind's a steel trap.
Thank you, Robert, but I don't think I need your advice at the moment. I just need to focus, just like we talked about. Okay, he said he'd be here by 9. Now, my father is nothing if not punctual.
Phil, don't worry. Michelle and I are here for you. If you happen to slip up or make some kind of horrific mistake in front of your father, whom you haven't seen in 20 years and is now returning to Sodor to judge your life's work, Phil, I'll swoop in with some of my world-famous charm. I'll toss in a witty anecdote from my illustrious military career. Michelle will throw in some, I don't know, baking recipes or something. And when all's said and done, you'll have plenty of time to regain your composure. Don't worry, Phil. You're in my hands. You're also in Michelle's hands. You'd probably prefer them, actually. They're pretty smallish and dainty and probably quite comfortable, really. My hands are all hard and calloused, like a real man, you know? I've taken into woodworking recently, and it really takes a number on the old...
Robert, shut up!
He's here.
These ships are outdated, Phil. I would think you, of all people, would appreciate the wonders of modern technology.
Dad, hello.
The RMS Queen Elizabeth. Now that is quite a ship. Not that I expect you to shell out that much for public transportation, but for your dear old dad, I would. Friends of yours, Phil?
Mr. Ardman! It is an absolute pleasure to finally meet your acquaintance. Phil and I go way back.
You and Phil? Most certainly not. No son of mine would associate himself with such a lowlife, pathetic, submissive...
This again.
Father, please. This is my friend, Robert Stewart, and his sister.
Yes, unfortunately I know these two quite well. They spoiled my plane ride.
Well, is there any reason you've come here, other than insulting my friends?
Listen to that attitude. I was gonna ask you when you planned to find a wife, but I think you may already have. She's got every bit as much an attitude as you. A match made in heaven, really.
Dad, I don't really...
Are you kidding me? Him of all people?
She'll come around. They're fickle, women are.
Father, I don't...
Mr. Ardman, please! Show some respect for Phil here. He's been through a lot in the last 20 years. You might have read about it in the paper, which I'll have you know, my sister Michelle writes for.
Standing up for her again? No backbone at all. That girl has enough of a mouth on her as it is without you swooping in to defend her every time.
Defending her? Look, pal, I don't know where you got the idea that you could talk to me and my sister like that, but...
Phil, is that a fishing boat docked there? Is there a fleet or is it a singularity? I think it's cheaper to purchase a fleet. More efficient, too.
Dad, I don't suppose you'd care to see the railway? Is that not why you're here?
Oh, sure. We'll see the railway indeed. But tell me about those ships out there. Are they privately owned? I'd love to go for a ride on one of those.
I don't know. Why... Are you even listening?
I'm listening to you. Tell me what you know about those ships.
Dad, I don't know anything about...
One would naturally assume that a director of an entire railway would know a thing or two about the island upon which he is situated.
How would knowledge of the railway in any way imply that I would possess knowledge of the fishing trade taking place in the surrounding area?
Michelle? Michelle, wait up!
What?
We messed up.
Mm-hmm.
This is bad.
How unfortunate for Phil. Can only imagine the utmost torment he's experiencing right now.
I'm not saying I don't want you here. I'm just saying that prior notice is better than none at all.
I called you before I got on the plane.
At the airport.
Look, Michelle, I know you're angry with me, but don't take it out on Phil. He's my friend.
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I being too much of a meanie for Phil to handle? Am I the straw that broke the camel's back?
Don't you bring my favorite animal into this.
You don't have any interest in my work at all, do you?
Phil, it's not my fault that I'm a man of the sea and you are a man of the land. There is no beach between us, Phil.
Phil, I am so sorry. Was it really that much of a disaster?
Yes. Why didn't you tell me you met him on the plane?
I didn't know it was him.
This has all gone terribly wrong. My father and I have nothing in common.
Phil, I'm sorry. I didn't know it was him. I just thought it was an arbitrary jerk. Hey, come on, Phil. You guys just need to find some common ground. I'm sure if you think hard enough, you'll find something. Meet in the middle.
I don't think there is a middle.
I don't accept that.
What did you drag me all the way back here to see? I was having such a productive nap at the Godred Inn.
I have a gift for you. Cover your eyes.
Is this really necessary?
Just a minute. Okay. What do you think?
What is this abomination?
It's a railboat. I fixed a rowboat to an old chassis I had lying around, and I created a railboat.
Why did you do this?
Well, do you like it? Would you like to give it a ride?
Phil, this thing...
Hi. Hello there.
This thing is hideous.
Aww. Please, Dad, at least give it a ride. I safety tested it with some workmen earlier.
Oh, fine.
There you go. Just be careful. How is it?
It's a little awkward. Now what?
Hoist the sail.
Hoist the sail? What, like it'll just up and... Whoa! 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 Oh my goodness.
How is it?
It's exhilarating. Phil, that was incredible, stupendous. I don't even know what to say.
Really makes you appreciate the railway in a whole new light, doesn't it?
I don't know if I would go that far. But anyway, Phil, I want to tell you the real reason I've come here.
Yes?
Well, not here. Let's have dinner tonight. I'll tell you then. Good. You've made it early. Now we have time to discuss.
Discuss what?
Phil, what I've really come to Sodor to talk about is the idea of...
Oh, so sorry we're late, guys. Traffic on a mountain is surprisingly busy. There were sheep in the way, there was wool everywhere. It was a mess, but hey, we made it early. Now we have time to discuss. You know, I think I'll get the halibut. Just for the halibut. The halibut again.
I didn't realize you invited additional company.
Well, I...
So, Phil, what I've really come to Sodor to talk about is...
Ah, delish. Oh yeah, this is some great water. I want a ton of it.
You know what, Robert? I think you need to use the restroom.
No. I appreciate your concern, but no thank you. I'm fine.
Well, you might as well just go now. You never know.
I kinda do. My body's on a schedule.
Come on.
Whoa!
Anyways, Phil, what I really came to Sodor to talk to you about is the future of your railway.
The future?
Yes. Are you planning for the future of your empire?
My empire?
The railway. Who will inherit the railway when you're gone? What's your plan? When you intend to have children?
Well, miss, you proved me wrong. I stand corrected. Or sit, as it may be. So, what are we talking about?
Look, Phil, this railway is huge. The money you have in it, I can't even imagine. You need a benefactor for all this wealth. Someone to inherit the railway. You must have a plan.
How do you know about all of this?
What do you mean?
I've been in charge here for 9 years, and you suddenly take interest in my work only now?
Look, Phil, I didn't even know where you've been for the last 20-odd years until recently. I was reading the paper a few weeks ago, and I found this article about Sodor and everything that's happened here in the last decade. That's what sparked my interest.
What article did you read?
I don't recall precisely. It was in the New York Times.
Do you remember the author's name?
Not really. Wait, I think it was Mitchell something.
Was the article perhaps titled The Isle of Sodor, A Decade of Hardships?
That sounds about right. Why?
I wrote that.
Really?
Yes, I write for the paper. I worked on that article for months.
Really?
Don't feel bad, Mr. Ardman. I get tripped up on her name all the time. It's that misleading CH sound. It happens to the best of us.
Phil, what I'm saying is, you need to have kids. They're life's little miracles.
Phil's having kids?
Could I maybe read this article sometime?
I feel like Agatha would be a good name for a boy. Yeah, if you squinted your ears.
Well, I don't know if I can dig it up.
If you truly care about your family's lineage, the only responsible course of action is to start one of your own.
Hey, can we get some service here?
So, what all did the article mention?
Well, it's kind of an anthology.
Are you even listening to me, Phil?
It wasn't super elaborate by any regard. Just a sort of quick insight into your history. The islands, I mean.
Breadsticks, yes! Light of my life, breadsticks. We'll take 4, please. And however many these guys want also.
It was after we came back from Sodor in May. I was curious, so I did some research. It's pretty incredible what you've done.
It's quite serviceable. I'll certainly give it that. You're doing a rather fine job running this place, after all. But you need to go bigger. And part of that is planning for the future.
Oh, these are scrumptious. Do they have doggy bags here? No, wait. Michelle, you brought your purse. No, there we go. What?
How much longer, Phil?
Just until Thomas arrives with his coaches. Then the line's all clear.
The railway system. Ugh, so unnecessarily complicated.
Hello there, Phil. What's, going on here? Thomas, this is my father. Looks like you two are bonding. Well, yes, we...
Almost ready, Phil?
Yes, deploy when ready. So, I hear that Robert is back on Sodor? Something about a tavern? Sort of. Yes, he's back. It's nice to see you actually speaking to people. What's that supposed to mean? Well, you don't talk to anyone. I most certainly do. Sure you do. You speak to your engines just fine. But when it comes to speaking with other people, Phil, you're pretty shaky. I most certainly... That's just my demeanor. Come on, Thomas, you know this. Whatever you say, Phil. All I'm saying is, I think you might have grown afraid of people over time. And who could blame you with these last few big events? But you have to trust people. Otherwise, it might be the end of you. I should find my father.
Phil, that was incredible. Better than ever. One more go?
That might be tricky to coordinate.
Phil, this is extraordinary. There's nothing quite like it. Look, I'd like to meet you again for dinner tonight, if we may. Bring your friends if you like. We never properly concluded our discussion from the other day. Now, if you'll excuse me, I require a nap.
There you are. I was getting worried. You're never late, not even by a minute.
Well, you know, old Skiff here isn't always the most reliable mode of transportation.
You came here on Skiff?
Yeah.
You can't ride Skiff without my supervision.
Phil, please. I know what I'm doing. Your dear old dad doesn't need you looking out for him.
But...
Hey guys, we made it! Hey Phil, do they have orange juice here? I'm feeling citrusy today. Whatever. What's new with you guys? Doing some father-son stuff? You know, when you put together father and son, you get fun? Or souther, I guess. But that's not a word. Yeah, I can go for some orange juice.
Where did you leave Skiff?
He's safely out of harm's way. He's on a siding.
Which siding?
Phil, don't worry about it.
Someone around here has to be responsible.
What's that supposed to mean?
Nothing.
That's right, nothing. Now, as I've been meaning to talk to you about, Phil, you need a wife. The sooner the better. Have a son, maybe two, if you really want to play it safe. And next comes finances.
I hardly have the time.
For finding a wife? What could be more important?
I'm too preoccupied running this island.
Finding a wife ensures that there'll be an island to run. You have to think in the long term here, Philip.
Philip.
What's important is the here and now. Longevity. Your lineage will outlast you, Philip. Now's the time to settle down. Build your business. Create a fortune for your children to inherit.
But there won't be a fortune to inherit if I don't work now.
Philip, life doesn't wait while you dawdle around with trains. There are simply more important matters to attend to.
More important matters?
A man like yourself should have people running his railway for him, while he plans for its future endeavors. You're a businessman, Phil, not a working man. You need to focus on running this place, not maintaining it.
I can't just hand off this railway to someone else. I run this place. I understand it. No one else knows Sodor as well as I do.
You're really going to waste your life trafficking railway lines?
It is not a waste. What do you even think I do? I keep this island running. Without me, Sodor would be a wreck. Do you have any idea who you're talking to? I'm the man who ended World War II. I'm the man who survived being targeted by the most infamous serial killer since Jack the Ripper. I've almost been killed more times than I can count.
Then why do you squander your oh-so-valuable life keeping this clock running when you're so clearly meant for better things? Why do you stay?
This is my railway.
Bollocks to your railway.
Oh, so you're a stress eater, huh? That's, humorous to some extent.
What is wrong with you?
What?
How can you let him treat you like this?
Like what?
He's terrible to you. So unpleasant, so bossy. Why did you wait this long to stand up to him?
It's complicated. I haven't known him in so long. You wouldn't understand. I don't want to...
Go to him. Now. Before it's too late.
Oh my god. Anyone, did any of you see a man on a boat with wheels pass through here? I'm being serious. We shouldn't be out here. It's too dangerous.
Oh, pipe down. You sound just like Phil. I'm just taking you back to your siding.
Hello?
Mr. Ardman, a man riding a railboat, as you call it, has been spotted. He is on the main line, headed from Timoth Beach, in the direction of Arsdale and Culdy Fell.
Are there any trains heading the other direction?
There is a goods train set to depart for Brendam Docks in just a few minutes.
We have to halt it. Direct me to the signalman closest to the yard. Alright, boys, just like I explained. Soon as the whistle blows, push forward as hard as you can, no matter what.
Couldn't we, ourselves, become injured? Scruffy, I'm beginning to question your leadership a bit here.
Quiet, you. Just wait a minute. Then you'll see. They'll all see. I don't like what I'm hearing back there. Come on, on. Oh, that was fast. Oh, wait, no! What's he doing?
Ryan, stop!
Mr. Ardman, the train is still going.
What? Stop it!
We can't, Mr. Ardman.
Is there a siding anywhere from that train to the Tidmouth line?
We can't direct a train into a siding, Mr. Ardman.
That's not what I'm asking. Can it be done? Tell me it can be done. There's a train coming! It's going to hit us!
Ugh, not if we turn the sail around.
You can't sail against the wind, are you crazy? You're going to kill us! This is all your fault!
Are you alright?
Yes, I am, thank you.
What just happened? Phil? Did you...
Well, the signalman here did most of the work, but I tracked you down.
But even after
No one knows this island better than me. Now let's get you home. I told you that truck was troublesome.
You know, son, you've done all right for yourself. This whole place is yours. No one can take that away from you. I was wrong to say that you're wasting your talents here. You clearly have a passion for your work. I only want what's best for you, and whatever you wish to do with your life, you have my support. I'm sure your mother misses me terribly. I'm just kidding, of course, but I do need to head back soon. Pay us a visit sometime.
I will. I will.
Hello there.
Oh, hi.
I'm Daisy, the diesel rail car. I'm sure you've heard of me, but anyways, I couldn't help but notice that you are here, alone, pensively looking out into the distance.
Yeah, rough day. Disappointing day.
I know how that feels. What's troubling you, precisely?
It's nothing.
Well, if you aren't going to complain, I will. I've been having a downright dreadful few weeks. I've been assigned this new coastal run, and the salty sea air has done an unforgivable amount of damage to my paintwork. Not to even mention what it's been doing to my makeup. Ugh, what an utter nuisance. Are you upset over your looks as well? Not that you should be by any regard, darling.
Well, my brother's a little fragile right now because of his marriage. He just got up and said he's leaving Jersey to live on Sodor and spend some time with his friend Phil. But as a sister, I couldn't let him do something so rash alone. He's so spontaneous and stupid. And now here I am. I left my job and my stability trying to keep everyone else's together.
Oh, you poor dear. That sounds ghastly, horrific, simply unbearable. If you think what you're going through is so horrendous, wait till you hear about my morning.
Really? What happened to you?
There was a bull on the line this morning. Champion, I believe his name was. Which is ironic because the farmer is such a loser. Can't someone build a decent fence on this island? Honestly, the nerve. And to make matters worse, I nearly blew a fuse during the whole ordeal, and I had to go to the diesel works for repair. I haven't been this livid since the time I refused to face the degradation of delivering milk tankers. And, Percy, had a bit of a rendezvous with disaster after that.
Wait, really?
Unfortunately, yes. There've been all sorts of mishaps in my time here, and I've only been on Sodor for a relatively short while. You know, that reminds me, once a friend of mine, Caroline, she had to go chasing after a train after it stopped her owner's game of cricket. She was terribly winded by the end of it all. Poor little thing. It was all a big misunderstanding.
This railway certainly has a lot of stories to tell.
Oh, darling, you're absolutely right. You could probably write a whole novella about one of my mornings here. The engines on this railway all have gone through their own trials and tribulations that make them who they are.
So many stories. Wow. Daisy, thank you. You've made my day.
Oh, darling, it was a pleasure. Oh, how embarrassing. Who are you?
I'm Michelle.
Well, Michelle, thank you for the delightful conversation. I do have to dash, though. Have to keep moving. I don't maintain these flawless swerves by idling about for all hours. Ta-ta!
Michelle?
Phil, is your father okay?
Yes, he's fine. He's just fine. I caught up to him.
Good. You know, I'm really glad you finally said something to him.
He just wants what's best for me. That's all. He can be a little overzealous.
Not to mention rude, crass, sexist, unpleasant, selfish, demanding. But I can tell he's a good man. Deep down. Somewhere in there.
I should have said something to him sooner. It's just that I'm not particularly adept at speaking to people so directly.
You're speaking with me now.
I know, but I don't know. It's just that I can't always articulate what I mean to say. I suppose I get nervous easily.
It's just kind of strange.
What is?
I mean, all the incredible things you did. I mean, what you've done. After all that, just to see you so weak, it was kind of a disappointment.
Is that why you've been so angry toward me all this visit?
It's partially that.
Well, I'm sorry if I didn't live up to your expectations.
I had everything together so well in New Jersey. Now we're here and I don't know what's going to happen to my journalism career. It's a mess.
The paper? You know, it's been some time since I had a proper photographer for the railway. And I think you'd be a shoo-in for a spot on the writing staff of the Sudrian, if you're interested.
You know, I think I'm going to like Sodor. A lot.
Can I show you something? This is a photograph of a Class P1 Mineral 282 Mikado. It's one of several engines I've been studying lately, and it's part of an idea I have.
What's the idea?
I haven't told this to anyone before. Feel free to tell me it's terrible. I've had a growing fascination as of late with other railways across the world. There are so many extraordinary, unique engines I'd love to bring to Sodor. The trouble is, so many of them are one of a kind, difficult, or exclusive to acquire or manufacture,
or simply not the same gauge as my railways that I can't include them. So I have two ideas. The first of which, the more pragmatic solution, is to build a railway museum. A building dedicated to the exhibition and display of the illustrious and fascinating histories of all the railways in the world.
That sounds interesting.
But I have a second idea. This is something I'd really like to do. It may sound quite odd. My greatest concern regarding the railway museum is that people might find it boring. Sodor is full of real engines, and some place dedicated to simply displaying information about locomotives may not draw in as many tourists. But what if I brought that information to life? I can't afford to create full-sized replicas of all the most wondrous engines in the world, but what about miniatures? Custom-built, miniature replicas of existing engine bases, on minimum gauge rails, engines large enough to pull real trains with people on them, but small enough to be a novelty. I haven't run this idea past anyone yet, save for you. I'm sure you'll think it's ridiculous.
I think you should make this railway, Phil. It sounds incredible.
Really? It might be...
Make this railway. It'd be like nothing anyone's ever seen. Build the railway, Phil. I'll be here to help you.
You really think...
Yes. Yes.
Alright, Mr. Hurt. You've served your time. You're free to go.
Sir, you've been here alone for over 2 hours. If you cannot pay for your meal, I will have no choice but to call the police.
Did I mention I'm a United States General?